No, I'm not talking about the government. Well, not in this video. Hey there guys, my name is Tyler and welcome back for another TyTalk. Today's video, I'm going to be going over the idea of representation in media and why it doesn't matter. Or rather, why the arguments around it don't matter. If you are a proponent of good representation in media to counteract the bad representation, then I completely understand and I agree with you. I wouldn't like it if people viewed white straight men as something terrible.
Racially charged tweets. Kesha Hamilton from the Jackson County Board tweeting this: "Whiteness is so evil. It manipulates, then says, I won't apologize for my dishonesty and trauma, including practices, and thinks you should applaud it for being honest about its ability to manipulate and be dishonest."
Are all white people racist?
I would say that I think white people have an implicit bias. You can argue with me.
Do you understand how racist it is to think that all white people are racist?
All white people are racist. So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
If white people want to see an improvement for people of color, they need to understand that racism is not learned, it's inherited, and either consciously or unconsciously passed down through privilege. The uncomfortable truth is that the white race is the most violent and oppressive force of nature on earth.
So, yeah, I get it. But there are other parts of the representation argument that are, like with all slave morality, more subversive. The two main arguments are, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And that if a piece of media or a profession is lacking certain representation, then that lack is actually causing people harm. These are not real issues, and like usual with slave morality, these people want you to care about things that don't matter in order to keep you down. And cue the montage!
I'm sure there are young teachers and young women of color watching this today saying, yes, one day I want to sit in a CEO seat, and I see Julie doing it, and so I now know it's possible.
Representation matters. Mm-hmm. It matters very much that those young people who saw the Maxine Shaw character saw themselves in it. They saw a version of themselves, and they said, oh, that's a template. She's doing it. I want to do it. Let me do it.
Please explain why representation matters.
Because you need to see a physical manifestation of your dream. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says.
And when you start creating worlds where entire races don't exist, people with bigger body types don't exist, people with different sexual orientations don't exist, you're creating a lie that does damage to viewers that internalize what they see.
If you don't see yourself being represented in some type of social media or some type of movie or some type of TV show, I don't know, it just makes you feel like, why don't I see anybody like me? Kind of like brings your self-esteem down almost.
Without that kind of representation or that kind of connection with the character, how are you supposed to know who you are?
I can't even begin to fathom living with the worldview of, if I don't see someone that looks like me, I can't be successful. I can't imagine living with such an ego and entitlement that says if I am not in this piece of media or profession, that you are causing me harm. Do you have any idea how insulting this is to all people? Not just black people, but all people who have been the first to do something. Did the Wright brothers say, oh, well, no one looks like us and no one has ever made an airplane before, so I guess we can't? Are these people seriously going to look at me and tell me, yeah, Superman is cool and all, but I can't relate to the content of his character because he's the wrong color. I can only look up to black superheroes. I was 6'3" at 13 years old, and like most kids, I played basketball. I played aggressively, and people said I played a lot like Dennis Rodman. Am I supposed to tell them, Excuse me. I don't see myself in him, so don't claim that I play like him. Even though I honestly enjoyed watching him play and did like how aggressive he was. But before I go any further, let me reiterate a notion that I've been saying over and over again in my videos. These people infected with slave morality, want you to believe that unless someone looks like you cannot succeed. That black kids can't do well without black teachers. They will even say things like, all black students deserve to see themselves in their educators and feel represented. Why? Why is this a thing? Does this apply to everyone else too, or is it just black students? Why isn't it just students deserve to see themselves? Let's take a look at what this guy has to say.
I tell people all the time that most black men, hell, for that matter, most black people, depending on where you grew up, did not have a black male teacher till they got to college. And I was one of those people. I never had a black male teacher till I got to the college. So much so that one of my undergrad majors was Africana Studies. At the time, it wasn't even a major. It was Black American Studies, and it was a coordinate major, meaning that you couldn't get it unless you had another primary major. And the only reason why I would say my wife, she got the same major as well, because that was the only department that had 4 black professors, and they were all male. So we were like, man, we rocking with y'all.
So you went out and got a useless degree simply because you finally had a black male professor. Are the rest of us supposed to feel this way too? Am I supposed to look at all of the women that were my teachers until college and say, man, I don't think I can really do anything because no one looks like me? Do not listen to these people that are trying to make you worse. Look at me. Look right into my eyes. I know you can. Even if no one has ever done it before, you can. And if you fail at it, oh well. You tried to do the impossible and it didn't work. Oh well. That doesn't mean you don't try, and that doesn't mean you can't, just because no one who looks like you has ever done it before. Moving on. As I mentioned before, if you are saying that you think that adding in more positive representation is a good thing, then I agree with you. But that is not what these people are saying. These people are using slave morality's #1 weapon of redefinition to manipulate you. This girl literally says,
and when you start creating worlds where entire races don't exist, people with bigger body types don't exist, people with different sexual orientations don't exist, you're creating a lie that does damage to viewers that internalize what they see.
No, it is not harmful to create a world, a fictitious world, where certain real life groups don't exist. No, it is not harmful to create a story, even based on reality, where certain real life groups don't exist. If it was harmful, that means that shows like Squid Game are somehow harming everyone besides Koreans, since it virtually had an exclusively Korean cast. That also means that movies like Boys in the Hood, Friday, anything by Tyler Perry, and Meteor Man are harming every single group by not including them. What the fuck kind of logic is that? I know, it's slave morality. If I'm not included in this, you're hurting me. In my video, The Bar and the Web, I go over this very simple concept that slaves love to get wrong. There are 3 possible outcomes: a positive, a neutral, and a negative. In regards to the media, a positive representation would be positive. A negative representation would be negative. But being left out is not a negative. That is the neutral outcome. White people were not included in Meteor Man. Great movie, by the way. But how is that harming me? How is that against me? How is it a negative that a story did not include someone that looks like me? How fragile of a person do I need to be to watch Meteor Man and go, there are no white people in this. This movie is horrible. But that's exactly what these people are doing. They will also bring in more negative depictions to try and disprove the ones that they see. Let's see if you can follow this logic. I see a negative depiction of a white guy in media, and I don't like it. So my solution is to now say, well, black people suck. Now, I know this doesn't negate the negative depiction that I saw, but that's what I'm going to do. Again, you'll hate me for repeating it, but I get it. If you see a negative depiction and want to counter that with a positive depiction, I get it. But the solution is to negate the negative. It is not the solution to show other races in a negative way. These people will actually go one further and say that zero, not a single negative representation of them is allowed. These people are so weak and fragile that not a single negative thing can be said about them or someone that might look like them. As I've said before, hate me all you want. Like usual, I know that there will be dumb comments down below completely not related to the topic and attacking me instead. Go for it. I don't care. Every time I see those comments, I know that whoever is saying them, they are worthless. But these people will say that if you portray black people accurately, that you are using racist stereotypes to harm them. Oh, and don't just take my word for it.
Generally, these historical depictions of racism in media don't find themselves into modern programming. So here are some modern black racist stereotypes. Food. So this one is technically over 100 years old at this point, but still finds its way into modern depictions. Chicken and watermelon being highly associated with black food stereotypes.
Apparently saying you like certain foods is both racist and harmful because, you know, no one has ever said that white people's food is bland or boring.
Drug addicts. Many black characters are often associated with or are drug addicts themselves in cinema and television.
Well, that's because black people can be drug addicts just like everyone else. Are you seriously going to tell me that black people cannot be portrayed as drug addicts because that's unrealistic or harmful? We've all seen the Nick Shirley and Tyler Oliveira videos. We all have eyes and see these things in real life.
What kind of drugs are you consuming here on the streets?
Alcohol and
Are people taking a lot of out here as well?
very much. I've lost about 20 friends to within the last half a year.
Did that scare you right
It
now?
did. I actually have left for about a month. I went home to my mom for a little while.
And what brought you back here to Skid Row? How do you guys make your money out here on the streets?
I clean garbage and I sell dope as a supplement.
And when you sell those drugs to the people, do you feel some sort of responsibility?
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty confident in the product that I do sell because I stick to the same thing that been working with me for years.
What is your drug of choice out here?
My drug of choice is crack cocaine.
Did you use anything?
Girl.
What?
Hard.
Hard? How do you afford your drug addiction out here?
Well, I used to do dates or whatever, but I mean, I be
Dates?
boosting.
Rob, steal, broken homes.
Gangsters. Modern black depictions also overrepresent black people as members of gangs or criminals, suggesting an overall dangerousness of black people.
No, it doesn't suggest an overall dangerousness of black people. It shows that black people can be gang members, and they make up major gangs in major cities. Is that a lie? Are these not the largest gangs in the country? Now, yes, I know that it's an estimate with these numbers, but let's run with them. On the high side, there are about 115,000 black gang members in the top 3 gangs. That is barely 0.2% of the total black population. Why would anyone think that all black people are gang members because they see some on TV? This goes to my original issue with the phrase, if you can't see it, you can't be it. Let's ignore that that alone is an awful mentality. But this uses the exact same logic, that if you see black gang members on TV, then every single black person must be a gang member. If you have a Pooh from The Simpsons acting like a Pooh from The Simpsons, then apparently he now represents all Indians, and this is how all Indians will act. What? All right. Let me see if I get this. If I don't see myself on TV, then I feel sad and I'm harmed by that. But if I do see myself on TV, then it needs to be good. Because if it is a bad or negative representation of people that look like me, then clearly the creator meant that all of us are represented by this one depiction. As I mentioned in my video, The Weapons of Slave Morality, one of the weapons that these people love to use is absolute values. Who does this? I mean that per usual as a real and honest question. Not once have I ever looked at a single white character and thought, well, that's me. Don't get me wrong, there are characters that I can relate to, but it's not because of their skin color, and not once have I ever thought, that's me. Never once have I seen a white villain like Joker or Lex Luthor and thought, the guy who created them must think that all white people are evil. The thoughts that I had were these characters are assholes. I'm currently working on my own graphic novel. Do you know who inspired me to do it? Go ahead, guess. Jack Kirby? Stan Lee? Bob Kane? Great at Batman. No, Kevin Graveau did. But let me guess. Because he doesn't look like me, I can't assume I can do what he does, or is it because we're both men that I can do what he does? I'm not really sure how this whole representation thing works. But this man went to college and got a degree in microbiology while minoring in chemistry and psychology. He then pursued a master's degree in genetic engineering, which he gave up to pursue his passion. He created Darkstorm Comics in 2003, and there was something else that he did. Oh, right. He's either the creator or co-creator of the movie franchise Underworld. These people, the people infected with slave morality, want you to believe that you can't, unless you see someone that looks like you, that you should be upset when you aren't included in a piece of media. This is another way of them trying to control you. They do not want you to succeed. These people are so obsessed with being seen that they insert themselves into media all the time. This is why movies, shows, and even video games have sucked lately. This is why they race swap characters. They don't want to make new ones. Slaves can't create. But they want to hijack well-established ones to say, see, we're just as good as them. This is why they say it's harmful or even racist to show a negative version of someone who's not white. These people are inherently useless, and that's why they do this. It's all to convince you that they are the important ones and that they have value. They don't. I take my inspiration from everyone, and I encourage you to do the same. Do not listen to these people that want to keep you locked in and thinking that you can't. See this black gang member on TV? That's you! No, it's not. Well, did you notice how Lord of the Rings didn't have any black people? That's racist and they hate you! No, it's not. And no, Tolkien doesn't hate you either. Fuck your ego and realize that not everything is about you. But that's what these people think. Negative depiction of a black guy. Well, that's me. No depiction of a black guy. Well, that's still hurting me. You're not involved in my stories and I'm not involved in yours. And tell me right now why I should care if you make movies without white people. Your race doesn't matter. Your sex, your skin color, your eye color, your hair color. None of that matters. And these are the things that these useless morons are obsessed with. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again so much for watching.